My name is Kinos. I'm an artist from Rotterdam, Netherlands. And today we're at Bring a Paint Festival and I'm painting this mural you see behind me.
What's it going to be in the end of this mural?
Well, in my work I use language, so the visual aspect of language, typography mostly, as a framework to explore form and color. So there's going to be a quote. It's sort of like abstracted. So what it will be is kind of like a geometric abstract pattern, but it will be a quote.
But so this is all intermingling letters?
Yes.
Basically?
Yes, yes.
So is that reminiscent of your background? Do you have like a graffiti lettering background? Is that how you started?
Yeah, so I started doing graffiti back in high school, I guess. Quite late actually, when I was about 18. And after doing graffiti for some years, I started studying graphic design in art school back in Rotterdam.
And what got you into the whole graffiti thing in the first place?
Well, I'm guessing just being a teenager in high school, like being drawn to counterculture a bit, so started skateboarding at a young age. Was always interested in like the graphic element of the skateboards and the design and stuff. And then saw some kids in high school doing it, and yeah, just followed suit, I guess.
And had art generally been always an interest then? Did you?
Yeah, I was always drawing as a kid as well. So as a kid, and loved comic books as a child. And it's funny, I had to give a lecture a few years back, and I went through my old drawings at my mom's house. And apparently, I was always into like the graphic part of any sport I was into. So I made like drawings of my favorite basketball teams when I was a kid, but I always already drew the logos instead of like the players. So yeah, I'm guessing it was always an interest. Yeah.
So how did this style evolve then? The style that we're seeing now, which is ultimately intermingling letters.
Yeah.
How did it evolve?
Yeah, just by trial and error, I guess. Like I said, I started studying graphic design, and I was always really into typography while I was in art school. Did some sign painting, and it was also, before it was really what you see now, it was more fragmented typography, I guess. And I was really inspired by just the amount of information we have to process on a daily basis, and how with the rise of social media that has only increased. So the amount of visual input, visual stimulus we're getting increases, but the message kind of gets abstracted, and was sort of the underlying thought between the fragmentation in my work, I guess.
Okay, so there's a lot of information here, but it's fragmented, so you've got to really look quite hard to make sense of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How have you seen how do you make graffiti these days when you hear the term graffiti and street art, and how have you found that it's evolved?
I think for starters they're two completely different things, graffiti and street art. And I mean, yeah, the evolution over the past, say, 20 years, I mean, has been incredible. It's been exponential almost, I guess. I mean, I really like traditional graffiti, as in like style writing, but over these past couple years, it's been evolving so fast.
Do you find yourself bridging the two in your work?
I try to keep it separate. So graffiti is graffiti. What I do on the walls during festivals or in my studio is something different, I think. Graffiti is just writing my name as best as I can, and preferably better than anyone else, because I think graffiti is a competitive sport, so to speak. And with this, not so much. I mean, for me at least, this is really satisfy my own creative itch, to scratch my own itch, I guess. With graffiti, I think it's, by its nature, it's more competitive, and that's what I like about it as well.
When you say competitive, what do you mean by that?
I mean, that's the whole game of graffiti, right? The game of graffiti is who can put up his name the most, his or her name the most, with the most style, with the best spots, the most international train systems. It's like a race, but nobody really ever wins. It's like just who can stay ahead for as long as possible.
So it's going bigger and better all the time, but both in terms of style, but also in location.
Yeah, it's quantity and quality. And I think the best graffiti writers, at least that's my opinion, are the ones who do both. So they have interesting styles, unique, and they just do a lot, more than, I wouldn't say anybody else, but they do a lot, and I think that makes for a good graffiti writer.
And you would write Kinos, is that right?
Yeah.
Looking at this piece that you've got here for Bring the Paint in Leicester, what do you hope people will take away from this? How do you hope they will experience this work?
I hope that it's like people walk past, that it's sort of unexpected, so people will be like pleasantly surprised to see this like injection of color into their daily commute, and yeah, hopefully somebody stops and tries to figure out what it says, and it just brightens up their day a bit, I guess.
And Leicester Bring the Paint Festival, what do you enjoy about this festival, and why is it so important that we have these moments in the world in which, you know, we operate the art world?
These festivals are important because it brings a lot of people together, I guess. It brings a lot of attention to the work that's being created during a week like this. It's great for artists in terms of exposure, meeting other like-minded people, like-minded artists from all over the world. And I think just public art in general deserves to be in the spotlights a little more often, because it's the most democratic form of watching art. Anybody can look at it, it's completely free. You don't have to go to a gallery, don't have to go to a museum. So yeah, I think that should be celebrated.